Testing. Okay, big delay, but that's all right. Let's try that. Testing, testing. Oh, my headphones are around my neck. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Just waiting to see if anybody shows up. We'll give it about till 6:35. Yeah, 6:33 right now. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hello there, everyone. Matthew here, and welcome to the Gaming with Matthew live stream. I am very excited for this. I'm hoping people show up. I broadcasted it as much as I could over the coming weeks. I was supposed to do this past Friday, but I just started a new job, so my new schedule's kind of wonky, and there were some unforeseen family circumstances that I had to attend to, which caused me to not be able to stream. But here it is. It's Monday. I hope you all had a good Monday. It's the 24th, I think it is. Yes, Monday the 24th, 6:35 p.m. I know we all hate Mondays, but hopefully this will be a good end to the Monday. Hopefully you went to work, you had a good day, you're home, you're eating dinner or have already eaten dinner, and you're just kicking back, relaxing. Everything's good. Everything's A-okay. We are going to do the Moses chapter of Adventures of the Old Testament. And the reason why I decided to do this as a live stream instead of like just a regular video that I record and I edit and I upload is because when I went to go record this, The animation is over an hour long. I'm like, there is no way I am doing another hour plus long video and editing all that. So I decided, you know what? The easiest thing to do would just be a live stream. And if people want to show up, great. If they don't, that's fine too. And if they want to show up later, it'll be on the channel. So you guys can always go back and relive the magic. I'm telling you guys right now, it's really hot in my room. I don't have an AC unit. So if you guys see me like kind of like slide back like this a little bit, that's because my fan is right here. My little rinky-dink fan. It's small, but it's powerful. So if y'all see me just, you know, in the middle of like the animation, just kind of like, it's because I'm hot. Okay? It's because I'm hot and I need to cool down. So let me just double check everything real quick. Make sure everything's good. Yeah. Okay. All right, so without any further ado, let's get into Moses. Now would be a good time to go to the bathroom, grab a snack, something, whatever you guys want to do. An hour and 20 minutes. Okay. Here we go.
As the new era of Egypt began, the new pharaoh did not remember that it was Joseph, a Hebrew, who saved the people of Egypt from famine. The pharaoh was sailing down the Nile River when he noticed the many Hebrews who were tending to their flocks.
Look at all those Hebrews. I had no idea there were so many of them. They could cause a lot of problems for me if they revolted. I must find a solution to keep that from happening.
The following day, the pharaoh visited the site where a new building was being constructed by his workers.
Your Majesty, everyone is working extremely hard, but we need more men to complete the job on time.
I think the Hebrews will be great for this job. Gather them up and put them to work. This will save me money and they will not have the chance to cause any problems for Egypt.
Over the next few days, the pharaoh's soldiers searched Egypt for Hebrew men and boys and forced them to become builders. However, God continued to bless the Hebrews, and they thrived and found strength during the horrible circumstances. Their families grew, and their sons became strong. This disturbed the pharaoh to no end. Again, he visited the work site.
There are too many of them. Ha! I know what to do. I shall command my soldiers to gather all the Hebrew baby boys and hurl them into the Nile.
Later that evening, the soldiers of Egypt searched the homes of the Hebrews. Terrified to lose their children, the mothers and fathers jeopardized their lives to protect their boys. Amram, a Hebrew from the tribe of Levi, rushed home to see if his boy had been taken.
Please, God, help me protect my boy. Miriam, is your brother safe?
He's sleeping safely with Mother.
God surely has blessed us, but Jochebed, he's not safe with us.
I have faith that God will show me how to shield our boy from the danger.
The following day, Jochebed prepared a basket that would protect her son.
Miriam, let me know if you see any soldiers coming. I'll have the basket ready soon.
With her baby boy safely in the basket, Jochebed and Miriam hurried to the river.
Miriam, I want you to keep an eye on the basket as it floats down the river. Oh, my son, it breaks my heart to send you off like this, but I have faith that God will protect you.
As the basket floated away, Miriam discreetly followed it down the river toward the pharaoh's palace.
The tiptoeing. The tiptoeing. Oh, that got me.
The Princess of Egypt was soaking her feet in the cool water. The baby began to softly cry. The princess turned her head and saw the basket.
Fetch that basket for me. I hear a baby.
Following the princess's instructions, the maid jumped in the river, grabbed the basket, and brought it to the princess.
It's a little baby. Why would someone put their son? Oh, he must be Hebrew. Poor thing. We need to find someone who can take care of him.
Miriam overheard the princess and walked out from the reeds.
Princess, I can find someone for you. I know a Hebrew nurse.
Bring her to me as fast as possible.
Mother, I need you to come quick. The princess found the basket and has asked for a Hebrew nurse to take care of him.
Thank you, my lord, for keeping my baby boy safe. You have blessed us once again.
Your Majesty, this is Jochebed. She is a Hebrew nurse. She is wonderful with children.
I want you to watch over this beautiful baby boy. If you have any problems, or if anyone harasses you about raising a baby boy, you let me know right away.
You have my word that I will care for him the best I can, Your Highness.
I name him Moses because he is from the river.
Moses was safely back at home with his rightful parents. And was being protected from afar by the Pharaoh's daughter. Thankful for God's blessing, Amram and Jochebed knelt down and prayed with their children.
He's cute.
Lord, thank you for protecting our son and bringing him back home. Please guide us so we can teach him to follow you.
Moses continued to live with his parents, but shortly after he turned 4, Jochebed and Moses were summoned to the palace. There, he was adopted by the princess, who took charge of the boy's care. Over the years, Moses was given the life of an Egyptian prince. One day, as a young man, while riding in his chariot past a construction site, he noticed a Hebrew worker being whipped. Appalled by what he saw, Moses leapt off his chariot and confronted the taskmaster.
Stop whipping that man at once. Mind your own business.
Angered by the taskmaster, Moses punched him hard in the jaw. The blow killed the man instantly.
What?
Moses was stunned. He checked for a pulse. There was none. He looked up at the other workers who had witnessed the incident.
I didn't mean to kill him.
The workers ran off in fear. Moses stayed behind and buried the taskmaster in the sand, right where he had died. The next day, he went back to check on the grave.
You fools! Stop hitting each other. You shouldn't be attacking one of your own.
You have no authority over us.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Are you going to murder us too?
No, I'm not. Why would you think that?
We saw what you did. Everybody knows.
Moses realized that it was only a matter of time before the Pharaoh would learn of his crime.
Moses has betrayed me. Guards, find him and kill him now.
The soldiers searched for Moses, but they were too late. Moses had left Egypt on horseback hours before. Moses raced across the desert and was able to reach the city of Midian before the soldiers could find him. Exhausted from his escape, Moses stopped to relax by a watering hole at the edge of town. As he rested, he overheard an argument between two shepherds, a man and a woman.
I don't care. We are going to water our flock first, so move out of the way.
We arrived before you, so no, we're not moving.
Excuse me, but I believe the lady is right. And it is also the honorable thing to do.
Taken off guard by Moses' commanding presence, the shepherd backed down. Moses assisted the women with their sheep.
Thank you, sir. You are very kind.
When Zipporah returned to her father's camp, she told him about Moses' kind assistance.
I'm grateful that this man helped you. I would like to invite him to our home for dinner. You know where he is now?
I believe he is staying by the well.
Go and find him. Tell him he is welcome to join us for our evening meal.
I'm so happy I found you. I told my father how you helped me. He would like to invite you to our home for dinner.
That would please me greatly.
Come with me.
Food was exceedingly delicious. I've never tasted those kinds of dishes before.
It's the least we could do for you, helping Zipporah today. Tell me, are you in need of work?
Moses thought about it. He had never worked a day in his life.
You know, I just might be.
Good. I've been looking for a good, honest shepherd. Would you be interested in working for me?
Yes. Yes, I would. Thank you.
Moses knew that the Pharaoh's soldiers would never think to look for him working as a shepherd. Over the years, Moses lived a very happy life in Midian, working as a shepherd. He took Zipporah as his wife, and she gave birth to their two beautiful sons, Gershom and Eliezer.
Gershom is growing into a strong young boy. His skills with the sling are excellent.
He gets it from you. One day, he will become a great shepherd, just like you.
Figured I'd get some light on me because it's starting to get dark.
For many, many years, Moses worked as a shepherd for Zipporah's father, Jethro, and his flocks flourished. But one year, there was a drought, and the pastures dried up. With no grass for his sheep to eat, Moses led his flock to the green pastures at the base of Mount Sinai. Even though life for Moses had been good in Midian, he still worried about his older siblings, Miriam and Aaron, back in Egypt.
I hope that my sister and my brother have been blessed with the health and happiness that God has given me here.
As Moses' sheep grazed, he noticed something strange.
How is it possible that this bush is on fire, but not burning to ashes?
Amazed at what he was seeing, Moses stepped up to take a closer look. Suddenly, a voice called out his name.
Moses!
Moses was certain the voice was coming from the burning bush. He stepped closer.
Stay where you are. Do not come any closer.
Who are you?
I am the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remove your sandals. You are standing on holy ground.
Moses removed his sandals and knelt in fear as God spoke to him.
My children are suffering in Egypt. Under my guidance, you shall lead them to a new and prosperous land of milk and honey.
Why would they follow me? I am no leader. I am no prophet.
Because I am God, and I am with you. My people will join you on this mountaintop, and together you will worship.
But how do I persuade them?
You will convince them. I created you and gave you the ability to speak.
What if they don't believe what I say?
They will believe you when you show them my powers. Toss your staff on the ground.
Moses did as he was told. As soon as the staff hit the ground, it transformed into a poisonous viper. Terrified by this, Moses started to run away.
Stop! I command you to go back and pick up the viper!
Shaking with fear, Moses obeyed God's orders. The moment Moses touched the viper, it transformed back into his staff. He realized that God had given him the power to perform this marvel, and that with this miracle, he just might be able to make the Hebrews believe that God was guiding him. Yet he was still doubtful.
Now go and confront the new Pharaoh.
What if he recognizes me? His father wanted me dead.
Many years have passed. He will not recognize you.
But what do I say to him?
I am growing tired of your excuses. Since you are not confident, I'm sending your brother Aaron to join you. Through me, the two of you will learn to speak.
Outside his home in Egypt, the voice of God called out to Aaron.
You must go and meet your brother, Moses, at Mount Sinai.
Aaron is perplexed by God's orders, but without hesitation, he hurries off on his journey.
Sorry, my mom texted me, or she tried calling me, and I'm like, I'm live streaming, Mom.
Moses.
My mom just said, well, excuse me.
Brother, I've been expecting you. God said he would send you to me.
Moses explained that God had brought them together so they could lead the Hebrew slaves out of Egypt.
First, we must go speak with the elders in Egypt.
I can introduce you.
Moses met with the elders, and to prove he was a messenger of God, he threw his staff onto the ground, turning it into a snake. You are truly God's messenger.
Tomorrow, my brother and I will visit the Pharaoh and deliver God's message.
I don't know if a snake was the best animal to choose, just because...
I think it's best if you give the message to the Pharaoh.
Brother, I am here to give you support only. You are much better at Egyptian politics than I.
I'm trying not to talk during the dialogue, but yeah, like, that's kind of how all this started, with Adam, Eve, and Satan as the snake. I'm just saying. A Komodo dragon, that would have been cool. Throws it down, Komodo dragon. I love these establishing shots. They look really beautiful, but they're what's making this animation so long. It's padding the time. Like, just get on with it! Sorry. I got a little angry. But it does give me time to talk in between, like, the dialogue. But, okay, we get it. It's Egypt. We don't need more establishing shots. Oh, goodness. They're still walking to the gate.
message. This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go, so that they may worship me.
Who do you think you are? Your God is no concern to me. I do not take orders from him. Now get out of here and get back to work.
The Pharaoh thinks we've been too easy on you, so there's been a change of plans. From now on, you will no longer be given any hay for your bricks. You must cut your own.
If we have to do that, we won't be able to make as many bricks.
You will continue to make 50 bricks a day or be punished. Stop being lazy, you scum. You haven't met your brick quota for the past 2 days.
There's not enough hay. I'm doing the best I can. It's impossible to build the same amount of bricks when I have to do double the work.
Later that evening, a Hebrew elder confronted Moses.
The Pharaoh hates us even more because of you.
And he's trying to kill us with all this extra labor.
God has given me these orders for a reason. We must all have faith in him.
Upset that he was the cause of Pharaoh's anger, Moses spoke to God.
The Hebrews no longer trust me, and the Pharaoh refuses to obey you. Now he is punishing them.
Go back to the Pharaoh and show him the power that I have given you.
Here to beg me to have mercy on the slaves?
We are here to prove to you the power of God.
Turning a staff into a snake is a clever trick, but it's nothing my magicians can't also do.
As the Pharaoh looked on, the snake of God ate the snakes of the Pharaoh's priests.
Oops.
The Pharaoh walked away, still not believing that his gods were weaker than the God of Moses. The next day, Moses called out to God and asked for guidance once again.
Go to the Nile River. There, I will once again show my power.
Why do you two keep harassing me? Leave me alone so I can enjoy my bath.
Since you will not release the Hebrews, then you can bathe in a river of blood.
That's an easy trick for my priests, too.
Then your priests should have no problem turning it back into water.
However, the Pharaoh's priests could not turn the blood back into water, so the river flowed with blood for 7 days. Everyone in Egypt suffered from the lack of fresh water. On the 8th day, the Nile became clean again. Still, the Pharaoh did not believe that the God of Moses was responsible, so God set forth another plague.
Where are they coming from? There are millions of them.
Frogs hop everywhere around the city. Inside, outside, and even in people's homes.
Ah! What's this frog doing in my stew?
They are ruining our food!
Get these nasty things out of here now, and bring me Moses and his brother, right away!
Excuse me, waiter, there's a frog in my stew.
Tell your God that I will release the Hebrews as soon as he makes the horrible creatures go away.
As you wish.
And with God's command, the frogs vanished from Egypt.
But...
However, the Pharaoh did not keep his promise, and the Hebrews remained his slaves. So, God set forth his next plan. God tortured the people of Egypt with an infestation of gnats. They were everywhere. In people's homes, in their beds, in their hair.
Yeah, that's where I would have given up. So gross.
They simply would not go away.
I don't like bugs.
Once again, the Pharaoh made an effort to reason with Moses. But Moses stood his ground. Finally, the Pharaoh agreed to set the Hebrews free, if God would rid them of the gnats. Once the annoying gnats were gone, the Pharaoh changed his mind again. In retaliation, God sent a plague of flies to Egypt. And as it was with all the other plagues, there were no flies in Goshen, where the Hebrews lived.
Why does it matter where you praise your God? Can't you do it in Egypt?
No, we cannot. We must follow God's orders.
Fine. Just go and take these flies with you.
Unfortunately, the Pharaoh did not keep his promise yet again.
Shocker!
So God struck all of Egypt's livestock with an awful disease.
Oh, poor animals.
Even
Oh my
then, the
God.
Pharaoh refused to accept God. God
That's sad.
commanded Moses and Aaron to visit the Pharaoh and his court once again. When they arrived, Moses threw ashes into the air. In an instant, the Pharaoh, his council, and all Egyptians everywhere broke out with hideous sores and boils from head to toe. Yet again, the Pharaoh remained hard-headed and refused to give in to God's power.
Bruh, just give up. Just let the people go. Not worth it, my dude.
Why have the Egyptians been so cruel lately?
We Hebrews have not been infected with the horrible diseases they currently have. They are even angrier at us because of that.
Even though all Egyptians were experiencing pain and suffering, the Pharaoh would not let the Hebrews go. Then, out of nowhere, a devastating storm hit Egypt. As the storm crashed down on Egypt, all the farmers could do was watch in fear.
This storm is destroying our crops.
What kind of storm was that? It looked like rocks falling from the
While
sky.
the hail continued to
Oh, hail.
destroy Egypt, the storm did not affect Goshen at all. The Pharaoh once again called upon Moses and Aaron.
My guy.
Gentlemen, forgive me for my sin. Your Lord is the Almighty God, and I can admit that I am wrong. Egypt has suffered enough. You are free to leave.
But just as before, As soon as the wrath of God was lifted, the Pharaoh went back on his word.
I'm sensing a pattern. You know,
how many times are you going to break your promise and refuse to believe? Release my people, or God will destroy everything alive in Egypt with a plague of locusts.
Your Majesty, I really think you should set his people free. These plagues have destroyed Egypt, and our people are suffering. With all that has already happened, it will take years to rebuild.
I've decided to let you go worship your god. How many people will you be taking with you?
We are taking all of our people, including our cattle and flocks.
No, that I cannot allow. You will only take the men.
Then I hope Egypt enjoys the locusts.
With God's command, a sea of locusts descended on Egypt, destroying everything in their path. But the Pharaoh remained stubborn. So, God increased the number of locusts, so much that it turned the day sky into night.
Ooh.
After several days of darkness, the Pharaoh demanded that Moses and Aaron be brought before him.
Enough! Take your people and leave Egypt immediately!
We will.
But your flocks and herds have to stay.
Absolutely not. Every hoof my people own will travel with us.
Fine. Then none of you shall leave Egypt. Now leave my palace at once. If you come back to me again, I will have you killed.
You're the one who
Then
keeps...
my God shall inflict his greatest punishment. These are the words of God. At dusk, all Egyptian firstborn shall die, from the firstborn of the Pharaoh to the firstborn of the maidservant who is behind the mill, to every firstborn of every beast. There shall be a great cry of grief throughout all the land of Egypt, heard like never before.
I don't believe you.
Then, Pharaoh, you will beg on your hands and knees for me to lead my people, flocks and cattle out of Egypt for good.
Moses immediately met with the Hebrew leaders and explained what was to come.
Tonight, we must all protect our families. God is sending an angel of death to punish the Pharaoh for his sins. The death angel will take the life of every firstborn, including livestock.
How are we to protect our families from an angel of death?
God said, "My Hebrew children, mark your doors with lamb's blood, and the angel will pass you by."
Father, why are you painting the door with blood?
Tonight, the angel of death will be upon Egypt. God said this blood will protect us from his wrath.
This will let the angel know to pass over our home. Hopefully after tonight, we will be freed.
9 times the Pharaoh has broken his promise. Perhaps this time he will give up.
Later that night, all the Hebrews gathered their belongings in preparation to leave Egypt as free men and women. While they waited, the families had a meal they called Passover, which was named for the angel of death passing over their families.
Oh. So that's why they call it that.
Look at that. What could it be?
I don't know, but it looks evil.
What is it, Bobby?
It is God's destroyer, an angel of death.
When the sun set, God's angel of death took the life of all of Egypt's firstborn. But all of the Hebrews' homes with the blood of a lamb painted on the front door were passed over, just as God had promised.
We must watch for God's sign to leave Egypt. Let's make sure we are ready to go at a moment's notice.
Your mother is right, children. Be ready when the sign comes.
Your Majesty, your boy has died, and the messengers are saying that all the firstborns of Egypt have suddenly died as well.
What? Not my boy! Bring me Moses and Aaron right now!
It doesn't matter anymore. My boy is gone.
With his only son gone, the Pharaoh no longer tried to reason with Moses.
Go worship your God and leave Egypt immediately. Do not leave any of your people, cattle, or flocks behind. I want you all gone now!
Finally.
Moses hurried to his people to deliver the message that they had finally been freed. With the news of their freedom, the Hebrews left their homes and gathered at a camp outside the city to praise God.
Thank you, God, for giving us freedom and preventing my children from becoming slaves of Egypt. Praise be to God.
The next morning, Moses and his people began their journey to the land that God had promised would be their new home. During the day, they were guided by a luminous cloud.
Letting the Hebrews go was a mistake. Now I have no one to build for me.
We might be able to stop them. Look at this map. They're headed for a dead end at the Red Sea. If we hurry, we can catch them.
Ha! Those idiots! Their foolish God is sending them the wrong way. He's not as powerful as they think. Send every chariot out at once. The Hebrews will be our slaves once more, and this time, there will be no escape.
Moses, look! It's the Pharaoh's army.
What are we going to do? There's nowhere to go.
This was all a big mistake. Moses led us to the middle of nowhere.
You're a fool for taking us out of Egypt. All you will accomplish is getting us killed in the desert.
Just as I predicted. Those fools have nowhere to go.
Those filthy Hebrews will see that I am more powerful than their God.
I don't know about that.
Being a slave to the Pharaoh was better than death.
There is no reason to be frightened. You will soon see that the Egyptians do not stand a chance. God will protect our people and fight for us. Have faith and be awed by God's power.
Suddenly, the cloud that had been guiding them on their journey moved in front of the Egyptians.
Look, the cloud is shielding us from the army.
As soon as the cloud blocked the Egyptians' view, Moses turned toward the Red Sea and held out his staff. Suddenly, a powerful wind blew from the east, separating the waters into two sides, creating a path for the Hebrews to follow. The Hebrews crossed the Red Sea on the path that God had created.
Now we're going to get 72 establishing shots of the Hebrews crossing the path. To some pretty triumphant music, I might add.
The cloud that was preventing the Egyptian army from advancing disappeared. The pharaoh was shocked to see that the Hebrews had escaped through a separation in the sea.
After them! Bring them back to Egypt!
On his command, the army charged after the Hebrews. But as they crossed the sea floor, the wet sand slowed the chariot wheels in their tracks. Moses looked back, raised his staff, and suddenly the winds grew calm. The walls of water came crashing down on the Egyptians. The pharaoh watched in horror as his entire army drowned.
That's what you get.
Praise God. He has saved us once again.
Through God, I have strength, and he is my Lord.
Happy to finally be free, Moses and his people were now ready to build a new life and a nation of their own.
Woohoo!
We shall be called Israelites.
As time passed, and Moses and his people continued their journey across the hot desert, the people began to lose faith in God and began to complain.
My throat is so parched.
We haven't seen water in days.
Later that day, they found a creek.
This water is dirty. I don't think it's safe to drink.
We could get sick or die.
Moses heard his people's complaints about the water, so he called out to God for help. God told him to throw a tree branch into the poisoned creek.
It is now safe to drink. God is watching over us.
God is definitely guiding us.
The Israelites continued their journey, thinking about a new life in the Promised Land. They imagined green fields, clean water, large flocks, and prosperity. But over time, their food supply dwindled, and the people grew impatient again.
This is getting absurd. We don't have enough food to feed our children, let alone ourselves.
At least in Egypt, we had a roof over our heads and food on the table.
Tonight you shall bear witness to God's power.
I'm sorry, I gotta say something. This man went to the Pharaoh almost a dozen times. Said, if you don't let my people go, you're going to get some plagues. And then he's like, I had enough. Take your people, take your livestock, take everything. Get out of Egypt. And so they get out of Egypt. And the Pharaoh's like, oh, I got to get him back. Never mind the Pharaoh. They get to the sea. And everyone's like, oh, Moses has led us, to our death, God is not with us, blah, blah, blah. The sea parts. They're like, yay, God, Moses, woohoo. They cross the sea. Sea closes, killing Pharaoh's army. Okay. They're walking through the desert to the promised land. Moses is leading them. I'm so thirsty. Oh, it was so much better in Egypt, blah, blah, blah. Okay. God says throw a branch into the thing and it'll be safe to drink. And they're like, woohoo, God is guiding us, yeah. Now, oh, we don't have enough food to feed our children. Moses is leading. At least in Egypt we had roots. They complain so much. Here's a guy who fought tooth and nail with the help of God to get you people out of a bad situation. Y'all were slaves. Your kids were going to become slaves. It was not good times. This man saved you with the help of God countless times. He got you to the sea. The sea parted. You went through it. You're walking through the desert. You're thirsty. You find a lake. You're not sure if it's safe to drink. God's like, here you go. Now it's safe to drink. Stop complaining. This man's trying to save you. Have faith. Okay, rant over. Here we go.
Listen to the words of the Lord. All of you shall have meat in the evening and bread at dawn. Eat until you are full, and know that I am God.
Just as God said, at dusk the sky was filled with thousands of birds that landed in the camp.
That was loud. Sorry.
There must be thousands of them. There's enough to feed all of us.
Why do we keep doubting Moses when this is proof that God is providing for us again?
I just said that.
The Lord has saved us many times. I will never question his power again.
That night, the people ate every single bird that had touched the ground. When morning came, the people discovered that the ground had been covered with a white substance.
What is this on the ground?
It is food from God, called manna.
Oh, thank you, God, for blessing us.
Everyone, collect just enough manna for today's travels. There will be more tomorrow.
We can't be sure that there will be manna in the days to come. I'm going to hide enough for a few days. That way we will have food, even if the others don't.
However, the next morning...
Our manna has spoiled overnight. It's gone rotten.
And there is plenty of fresh manna on the ground. Moses did tell us that we need to believe that God will provide.
Moses told the people to prepare for the Sabbath by collecting extra manna the day before and keep it overnight. To their surprise, the manna for the Sabbath did not spoil. The Israelites continued their journey across the desert with renewed faith. They traveled toward Mount Sinai, where God first spoke to Moses. On their way, they stopped to set up camp in a valley with a stream. Moses was pleased.
Ziphrah, take our boys and go visit your father in Goshen. Tell him that God has set our people free, and he is guiding us back home.
As the Israelites settled into their camp, a dangerous tribe lurked in the distance and planned their attack.
We can easily take this camp if we invade quickly and catch them off guard.
the Amalekite raiders headed for the camp. But an Israelite lookout saw them coming and called out a warning.
Amalekite invaders! Amalekite invaders! Prepare for battle!
Joshua, gather our strongest, most skilled soldiers and attack them before they reach our camp. I'll head to the hilltop with the power of God's staff.
On the top of the hill, Moses raised both arms to the sky, with God's staff in his hand. The Israelites attacked the raiders fiercely, with the power of God's staff on their side. But eventually, Moses' arms grew weary, and they began to lower. At that point, the battle took a sharp turn. The Amalekites suddenly were overpowering the Israelites.
Moses is getting tired. We must help him if we are going to win this battle.
I have an idea. Follow me. Look! Aaron and Hur are helping Moses keep his arms up.
As they helped Moses keep God's staff in the air, the battle suddenly took a turn again, this time in favor of the Israelites. After a long and exhausting fight, the Israelites defeated the Amalekites, and the invaders retreated.
Victory!
As the sun set, the men returned to their camp to reunite with their families.
Thank you, God, for helping our men defeat those evil Amalekites. Without you, it would not have been possible.
To give thanks, Moses built an altar and led the Israelites in prayer to God.
It feels good to have God's strength to protect our families. It wasn't long ago that we were slaves in Egypt. Now we are free.
One day soon, we will be able to build a strong nation in God's promised land. A nation much better than Egypt.
After a couple of days, the Hebrews reached the wilderness of Mount Sinai, and Moses and his people set up camp. Then suddenly, Moses received great news.
Moses, your wife and sons are here, and they brought your father-in-law as well.
I've missed you all so much. Thank you for coming. Jethro?
Zipporah has told me all the great things God has blessed you and your people with.
Honored to have Jethro at his camp, Moses showed him around. As time passed, Jethro began to notice that everyone in the camp complained only to Moses.
Moses, you are taking on way too much. It's hard to be the judge to everyone. You need to find a few wise men and teach them God's way so they can help you. Let them advise your people.
Moses knew Jethro was right. Shortly after, he delegated duties to dedicated believers.
Thank you for the advice. Having these men help allows me to devote more time to teaching God's way. I should have done this long ago.
Later that day, Moses went to talk to God on top of the mountain. When he arrived back at the camp, he delivered a message from God.
Brace yourselves for what's to come. God said that on the third day, he will appear before us all on Mount Sinai.
Okay, that's a cool shot.
When the third day arrived, clouds rolled across the mountain, streaks of lightning scorched the sky, and thunder roared throughout the valley.
That's so cool.
We all must go. God has given us his sign to move away from this place.
We must not get any closer. We must stay behind the boundaries that Moses has made for us.
As the people of Israel gathered around the base of Mount Sinai, God spoke out to them.
I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt and out of the house of slavery. You must obey these 10 commandments. You shall worship no other gods before me. You shall not make, create, or bow down to any man-made idols. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not lie. And you shall not be jealous of your neighbor or other people's possessions.
God spoke to Moses and passed on to him the commandments that his worshippers should follow.
I broke like 5 of those commandments.
So Moses built an altar where everyone pledged to God to follow these commandments.
Oops.
The pledge was called a covenant. Later, God beckoned Moses to return to Mount Sinai, so he could receive the 10 Commandments carved into stone tablets. Joshua accompanied Moses for part of the trip. But Joshua returned after 4 days. Joshua was worried when Moses did not come back when he was expected.
How long until Moses returns? Should we try and find him?
We are forbidden to go into the mountains to find him. Moses is isolated with the Lord.
Perhaps he won't return at all.
If he does not return in 7 days, I will go look for him.
With Moses gone so long, the people became despondent. They started abandoning their pledge to follow God's laws. They wanted a symbol of some kind to worship.
We should see if Aaron will allow us to create a sculpture to pray to.
We deserve a God that's visible to us.
Aaron had also become despondent, so he agreed to build it. The people gave Aaron all of their pieces of gold and jewelry. Aaron melted it down and constructed a gleaming golden calf.
Amazing! It's so similar to one of the gods people of Egypt worship. This is no accident. This must be the true God.
We shall have a feast tomorrow to honor our new Lord.
Wasn't that like the first commandment, like number 1? You shall not
On the next day, men and women carried gifts to lay before the golden calf.
worship any
This
other god
worried
before
Joshua,
me.
So he decided to go find Moses. Meanwhile, Moses was nearing the base of Mount Sinai with the stone tablets when he suddenly came face to face with Joshua.
Joshua, what is that sound coming from our camp?
Is it fighting?
Fighting? I hear music.
When Moses entered the camp, he was shocked by what he found. He loudly smashed the stone tablets. And the people immediately stopped celebrating.
You have broken the covenant with God. You pledged to worship only him, yet you have replaced him with a statue. Which one of you did this?
Everyone handed me their jewelry, Moses. I am not to blame. I melted it down, and you see, a golden calf just emerged.
Put it into the flames again.
When the melted gold had hardened again, Moses crushed it into powder and threw it all into the stream.
Now, everybody drink from the stream.
But the stream?
It's sure to make us all ill.
Do it, and remember what you did. Think about how you've been unfaithful. I will return to the top of the mountain to beg God for mercy.
At the mountain peak, in the very same place Moses was given God's commandments, he bowed his head to pray for his people's forgiveness.
They are ignorant, disobedient, and selfish. Leave them, and I will annihilate them all.
God, I beg you to have mercy. You pledged to protect the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm aware they aren't worthy. However, if they are annihilated, people all over the world will claim you're unable to keep your word.
Down at the encampment, the men and women waited for Moses to return. They prayed that God might have mercy, and when they witnessed Moses' return, they were filled with fear.
Is that Moses?
It is. Why is his head glowing? It hurts my eyes.
Moses' head was glowing as bright as the sun by the glory of God. He placed a thin veil over his head to ease the people's fears.
Do not have fear. The Lord has absolved you.
The people received God's mercy for their disobedience. Moses was given 2 new stone tablets with the 10 Commandments etched in them. The Israelites gathered to listen to Moses.
I have received word from God. He desires a large tent for prayer and worship. Offer what you can, and we can construct it.
Everyone happily carried forth their gold, fabrics, hides, wood, and building materials, so that God's home could be magnificent.
Are they building like the first church or something?
After weeks of tireless work, God's home, the tent of meeting, was finished. Everyone was pleased.
It's the Ark of the
Moses
Covenant!
placed the 10 Commandments in a holy ark, and it was carried into the tent of meeting, to a special room called the Holy of Holies. God's presence entered the tent, and his glory was felt by all. Now the Israelites could rejoice. In 1 year, they had established a new nation, leaving Egypt's oppressive life behind them. They now had an encampment with rules, justice, and a place to worship God. God blessed everyone in the tribe of Levi and made them priests, including Aaron. Aaron was specially instructed by God to spread his holy word in the form of a blessing.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his face on you and protect you. May the Lord give you peace.
God gave his people new customs to follow, so they would no longer follow the customs of Egypt. He gave instruction on how they could provide offerings to him to atone for their sins.
I only have this small bird to offer. Will God accept it?
God has no preference for the creatures you offer him. He merely cares if your intentions are pure.
The Israelites often sacrificed goats. The whole tribe gathered as Aaron selected 2 goats from the flock.
I don't understand why there are 2 goats, Mommy.
One must be sacrificed to God on the altar, and the other is called the scapegoat. He will carry all of our sins far away from here.
Upon you I cast every sin and transgression with which we have been burdened. Now, go into the desert and do not return.
Is that where
Through
the
these
term
offerings and
scapegoat
feasts,
comes
the people
from?
were always reminded how God provided for them and kept them safe. Anticipation filled the air. Everyone in the encampment was excited about the promised land that God said he would reveal to them. And that day, a pair of trumpeters blared their horns and summoned everyone to the tent of meeting. The Israelites stopped what they were doing and gathered outside the tent of meeting where Moses was standing.
What's happening? Are we about to leave for the promised land?
I don't know. Only God can guide us there.
Come forth, Almighty God. Make your presence known.
Up above! The cloud moves higher.
The cloud was the signal the people were looking for. They excitedly dismantled the camp and prepared to make the journey. They were led by the priests, who carried the Ark of the Covenant on their shoulders. As God instructed, Moses kept count of each person as they passed by him. From the edge of a cliff, Moses witnessed his people advance forward to the promised land.
We are with God, so there is no reason to fear.
Although the Israelites often stopped to set up camp in the middle of the barren desert, the Lord provided plenty of manna to eat. However, as time passed, they grew tired of eating the same thing day after day.
This manna! I can't stand the taste of it anymore. What are we even eating?
What I would give for a fresh orange. Remember oranges?
Don't remind me.
And vegetables. A carrot. Is that asking too much? A carrot?
Stop talking.
I thought Moses said God would provide for us.
Maybe Moses was lying.
Maybe God was lying to Moses.
Maybe y'all should stop complaining.
Filled God with rage, and God turned his rage into fire. In an instant, lightning struck a tent, and it burst into flames. The flames jumped from tent to tent, and soon the entire camp was engulfed in flames.
Fire! Fire!
Oh no! Is God punishing us for complaining about the food?
Yes.
Moses, help us! Ask God to forgive us!
Forgiveness from God is the only thing that will end this. I will pray.
Moses bowed his head and began to pray. Once Moses asked for God's mercy, the flames miraculously extinguished.
What happened? The flames are gone.
I saw it firsthand. Moses spoke to God and the flames ended. From here on out, when Moses gives us orders, I promise I will never complain again.
However, promises were hard for the Israelites to keep. Some began to object again about the boring manna that God had provided. Once more, Moses had to speak to God to find answers.
I spoke with God. He tells me that better food will come, and there will be plenty. You will be surprised.
Right. I believe Moses. If he says God needs to send us food, God will do it.
The wind suddenly changed, and a dark cloud moved through the sky. But it was not a dark cloud at all. It was a huge flock of quail flying through the sky. The flock chose the Israelites' camp to land. As soon as the quail touched down on land, the people grabbed every bird they could.
This is incredible!
We can even keep some to have later.
As soon as many of the quail were cooked, the entire camp had a huge feast. They ate and ate until they became sick.
I should have known. I let my greed take over.
My eyes were bigger than my stomach.
Eventually, the people were commanded to march forward again. Once more, they were led by a cloud when the sun shined, and by a great flame when it was dark. Their encampment grew nearer to God's promised land. Little did Moses know that his own brother and sister were growing tired of his leadership.
Moses claims to be the only one who can speak for God, but he is mistaken. You are the high priest, Aaron. It's time you use that power.
Aaron and Miriam were tired of taking orders from their youngest brother, Moses. They decided to speak with him.
Moses, why do you believe that God can only communicate through you? After all, Aaron was chosen by God to be the high priest. And if you remember, I'm also a prophetess.
Yeah.
But before Moses could respond, God beckoned the siblings to the tent of meeting and appeared as the great white cloud.
I have never communicated with anyone except through thoughts, dreams, and visions. The only person I have ever allowed to see my face is Moses. Consider what that means. Perhaps you should think twice before you talk down to Moses.
Then the cloud vanished. Miriam looked down at her hands. She had suddenly contracted leprosy, the most feared disease in all the land.
This can't be! I should have never doubted you, Moses. Help me, please!
Moses, we were mistaken. I beg you to forgive us. Won't you do something for Miriam?
There's nothing I can do. God is the only one who has that power. But I will ask for his help. God, please help Miriam. Please, make her well.
As penance for her cure, Miriam is to spend 7 days in exile away from the encampment. After 7 days passed, Miriam came back to the camp.
I was filled with pride, Aaron. That was my sin. I know better now.
I made the same mistake. That will be the last time I ever question God's word.
The Israelites had marched through the desert and finally arrived at the wilderness of Paran. Moses told them to stop here for a while. Moses explained that there would be an urgent gathering, that he wanted a single man from every tribe to be present.
We've arrived, just outside of the place God has pledged to make ours, Canaan. But we can't move forward until we know what's out there. The region must be investigated. We need to learn how the inhabitants live, where the largest streams are, and what kind of defenses their towns have.
We should get moving now. All of us can explore something different.
That is a big town.
And the town is well fortified.
Meanwhile, in the forest...
Do you see that? Those men are huge.
We don't stand a chance against giants like those.
And in an abundant valley...
The size of these grapes is astounding! The dirt has to be very rich here.
We should let Moses know. Let's return to the encampment.
The scouts were cheered as they returned to camp.
Are those grapes? They remind me of the grapes we had in Egypt.
Different scouts told Moses about other things in Canaan.
The region is very affluent. You could grow almost anything.
However, they are giants, and the town is well fortified. It makes me nervous. We can't possibly take it by force.
That's not true. It belongs to us.
Anything is possible with God on our side.
But Joshua and Caleb were in the minority. Most of the other scouts disagreed.
We can't. The men in that city make us look like ants.
What would stop them from killing us and enslaving our children all over again?
Ending our quest isn't an option, but going into Canaan is suicide. What do we do?
Returning to Egypt is the only thing that makes sense.
We were brought here by God. If we keep our faith, then He will surely allow us to seize the Promised Land.
How do we really know that?
Remember to trust God. Be strong.
God will help us defeat them.
I want to shut them up once and for all.
The other scouts started to grow angry at Joshua and Caleb. But just then...
What's happening at the tent of meeting? It's on fire!
No, it isn't burning. It's shining. Moses is in there speaking with God.
Within the tent of meeting...
Have mercy on my people, O Lord. Do not hurt them, despite the fact that they do not believe that you would have given them strength.
The people fell quiet when Moses emerged from the tent of meeting.
We are to go back to the wilderness.
Back to the wilderness? Why?
It is God's punishment for your lack of faith that He would have helped us enter the Promised Land.
Later, a few men gathered to discuss what to do.
So, those are our only two options? Conquer Canaan or return to the wilderness?
We should choose to take Canaan.
Yeah,
We can do it.
we must tell Moses.
A strategy was hastily thrown together, and the men explained their plan to Moses.
No! Fools! You fearfully lost faith in God, yet now you intend to conquer Canaan? Do not make such a grave mistake. God will not help you now. We are to return to the wilderness, as God commanded.
The overconfident warriors gathered together and marched out to go to battle with the soldiers of Canaan.
Oh my
We've
God.
defeated raiders, so we will definitely win this battle as well.
Who needs Moses?
Attack!
It's a slaughter! Retreat!
If I survive this, I'll never doubt Moses again.
The conflict quickly ended, and the retreating warriors shamefully returned to the encampment.
How did it go?
It was over before it even started. Their forces attacked us from every side.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They come back. How did it go? How do you think it went, Karen? Like, only 3 of us came back, and I'm holding my arm. How do you think it went?
Israelites viewed firsthand the consequences of disobeying God. They happily returned to Moses. However, Korah, a worker in the tent of meeting, became envious of Moses. He gathered his friends.
What makes Moses so much better than any of us? And why do we have to return to the wilderness? I refuse to take orders from him. I will tell Moses that we have replaced him.
Why are these people so stupid?
Korah and his friends found Moses.
We have decided to replace you, Moses.
When the day is over, God will reveal who he wants to guide us.
Moses called the people together again after the sun rose the next morning.
Abandon Korah and his treacherous friends. They can only bring you pain and death. As evidence that I am his only choice to command you, I ask God to rip a hole in the ground to consume them.
Suddenly the ground shook, and the earth ripped open. Korah and his rebels fell into the cavernous pit. The fearful people looked to Moses for undisputed leadership, and, as God commanded, Moses led them away from the Promised Land to roam the desert for 40 years. As hard times arrived, the Israelites didn't remember that it was their distrust of God that prevented them from settling in the Promised Land. So once more, they began to whine.
Of course they did.
The spring is dry? Oh no! There's no more water!
We should find Moses.
Moses, where are we going to get our water now?
I think we should return to Egypt. There was plenty to eat and drink there.
If water is what you desire, then I will give it to you.
Filled with rage, Moses used his staff to strike the outcropping of rocks next to him. He did it 2 times in a row, and water flowed out. However, that did not please God. He did not provide the water. Moses and his staff did. How could God trust Moses to lead the Israelites if Moses didn't trust that God would provide? As punishment, God forbade Moses from setting foot in the Promised Land.
Is that it? Wow. I can't believe it's already been an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, that's it. Oh, man. Oh. That was a story. That was like a whole saga. Now, watch. There's only going to be like 3 minutes of gameplay. My goodness, that was like a whole thing. Loading, 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 loading. Oh, here we go. Story lessons. Stop scrolling. I can't read that fast. No! Okay. Here are just a few lessons we think you should take away from this biblical story. Stand up for what's right. Moses stood up to Pharaoh to demand that he let the Israelites go. Even though it was a difficult and dangerous thing to do, this teaches us that it is important to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. Believe in yourself. When God called on Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, he doubted himself at first. But with God's help, he was able to overcome his self-doubt and do great things. This reminds us that we should believe in ourselves and have faith in our abilities, even when we're faced with challenges. This is actually something I struggle with. Like, I have no confidence in myself. Like, with this new job that I got, I was so terrified and so afraid of failing because, you know, I need this job to, you know, support myself and my family and, you know, just the thought of failing, you know, and not only failing myself, but failing my family and, you know, being a disappointment. That is something I really struggle with. So this is something I need. Be a good leader. Moses was a great leader who, don't know. All right, we're going to skip. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, part 1, part 2, part 3. So there's 3 parts. And we have, okay, so part 1, left mouse button to attack. So it's just an attack. Part 2, we got ground slam, holy smite, fireball, prayer. So we have the original things. And then part 3, we have left mouse button to shoot fire and right mouse button to aim. Okay. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. All right. Protect the slaves. All right. Where you go? Come back here. There we go. Yeah. You're facing the wrong way. No! Leave them alone. Oh. Okay. You had to get one last hit in there before dying. All right, I think these are the last two. 2 more. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Is that it? Oh. I don't have to beat up the horse, do I? Oh, no, because I take it. They found out what I did, and they're like, oh, kill him. So I get out of there on horseback. Got it.
Moses has betrayed me.
Skip.
Guard.
All right. Escape. Escape. All right. So, oh, wait a minute. Oh, bad people behind us. Okay. Are these my people? Fight the Egyptian army and make your way towards the sea. Okay. Is this the Egyptian army or are these my people? I think these are just people. Okay. Oh no! Oh, they're coming! Okay. Get ready. Get ready! That is my favorite move. Okay, let's go. Oh. Oh, I have... Okay. Alright, I guess I have to fight them before I can make my way towards the sea. Unless this is the way I'm supposed to be going. I don't think so. Anyway. There's a thing there, and there's a sea there, so I don't know if I'm supposed to go this way, or if I'm supposed... I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. What up, peeps? Oh, okay. Is there no one else? There's a lot of people over there. They're ahead. Wait, where are they? Are they ahead of me? Yeah, let's go this way and see what the dealio is. Oh, there's the green marker. Oh. Bring it on. Okay, there we go. There can only be one! Here we go. Go towards the sea. Yo! That's so cool! I thought it was going to cut to the animation. Oh, yes! Oh, that's so cool. Are there... Oh, here they come! Come! Here, my people, come! Let's go! In your own time. Come on, let's go. Yes, go. Go, 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 go. Oh, wait. Oh, y'all following me? All right, let's wait for these guys. Wait. Are these my people or... Yeah, I think they're my people. Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. Let's go. All right. This is so cool. Nope. Invisible wall. Okay. You still following? Yeah. Why are you guys so slow back there? My goodness. Almost there. Almost there. Wait, let me stop. Let me stop for a moment to pray. There we go. Okay. It's like the worst time to do that.
Moses turned toward the Red Sea and held out his staff. Suddenly,
Skip.
a powerful...
We already saw that. All right. Save the Israelites. Israelites. Kill the invaders with fire. Hello? Oh. Okay. So there's a little bit of a delay. My arms got tired, so I just decided to shoot fireballs at him. Victory! I think that's the last one, too.
Thank you, God, for helping our men
Skip.
defeat those...
Yeah, it is. Guys, we did it. That was the story of Moses. And oh my goodness, was that a whole saga. Oh. I didn't know the story was going to be that long. Okay. So next is the Israelites in Exodus. And that's just an animation. So I'll probably just make a video for that. Unless you guys want to see a live stream. I don't know. Let me know. And well, this is a live stream, so there's no real comment section. And but yeah. So I'll look ahead at some point and just see how long the animation is. If it's too long to make a video, I'll do a live stream. But if it's short enough where I can make a video and maybe react to something, I don't know. But thank you everybody so much for watching. Thank you everybody who showed up. This was really fun. My bum is hurting from sitting, so I'm gonna go. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. It really warms my heart when you do that. If you want to see more, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to ding that little bell next to it so you guys can get notifications whenever we upload new videos. My name is Matthew, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Okay, now how do I stop this? I probably should have thought this through. Stop it. Stop it.